Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along. I'm not in the wilds of Suffolk today. As you can see, I'm clearly in the Matrix. And I'm joined today by my guest, Ruby. She's from London Research Labs. And today we're going to be talking about a product that they produce and sell. It's called Carbon 60. So welcome, Ruby. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here.
Lovely. Hiya, Chris. Nice to be here.
Excellent. All right. So please just, before we sort of get into what Carbon 60 is, just give us a brief understanding of what your company does, and then we'll start on what Carbon 60 is and why it's important that people know about this stuff.
Yeah, lovely. So my name is Ruby. I'm the office manager here at London Research Labs. I've been with the company since it was formed from week 2, and we're now in our 8th year. We're a specialist company in that we only produce Carbon 60. That's all our lab produces. We have a lab based within the UK, and that's all we produce. We currently produce around 3,000 to 4,000 bottles a month, and we go all the way around the world with it. And we've found that ever since the company started, year on year, the growth we have is exponential. So every year we maintain the customers we have, we then add to them. So every year it's a product that grows really, really well.
Amazing, amazing. Now, before we get into the product or anything else, I want people to understand I have no affiliation with the company. There's no monetary gain for me. Can you confirm this? I haven't asked for anything. I don't want anything. There's no discount in it for me. I get nothing out of this interview, but I'm just bringing this this supplement to people's awareness. I take this, and I have been since about 8 or 9 years ago. It's only in the past 3 or 4 months that I've been taking it from you guys.
Yeah.
I used to get it from America, but I do this as I do all of my videos. It is just to bring awareness to people about issues that are going on in the world. And I talk about supplementation a lot, and Carbon 60 is one of those things that I think is essential for people to supplement their diet with for a multitude of reasons, which we're going to go through today. But first, let's talk about Carbon 60. What is it, and why is it so important?
Okay, so Carbon 60 is the most powerful antioxidant that's ever been discovered. It's a Carbon 60 molecule, meaning that it's made up of 60 carbon atoms, and they're shaped together to create a soccer ball-like shape. And
I'll show people what that looks like, if you don't mind.
Yep.
Just so we can, so they can get a good idea if they've never seen it before. This is what the Carbon 60 molecule looks like, right?
Exactly. So that's your 60 carbon atoms. And the soccer ball, because it's a closed sphere, it actually acts like a sponge, and it allows the Carbon 60 to bring stuff into it. So the free radicals, the toxins within your body, that's what makes it so powerful, and that it can take them and then excrete that from the body when you go to the toilet. Amazing.
Amazing. Now, what is an antioxidant? Explain an antioxidant for those who don't know, for those who are not in that sort of field. What is an antioxidant? Why are antioxidants important in the first place?
Okay, so they're vital to the body to cope with the oxidative stress that we have within the body. Now, that's caused by external factors. So, for example, toxins in foods, in the air we breathe, the water we have, any vaccinations, things like that. So there's a lot of stress that's put on the body. There's a lot of toxins the body takes on a daily basis, and the body itself creates its own toxins. It creates its own waste when it produces hormones and things like that. So the reason you have an antioxidant is because it goes into the body and it clears away all that damage, all that stress, all the free radicals that run around our system. And with Carbon 60, you imagine it as to be like a sponge. It goes in and it travels around the blood system. It goes into all the cells, the organs of the body, and it clears away all that damage. And that then allows the body to create new cells to function as it should, really, without all that damage and toxins build up.
Great. Okay. So there's something else. When we're talking about it's called Carbon 60 for a reason, because it's a carbon molecule, right? 60 carbon atoms forming one molecule of Carbon 60. That's right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. So what I did before we got started, I went and had a look, because I wanted to confirm. We all know that our body's made of water, and we're a carbon-based life form. So here we are. This is the physics of the universe. what are humans made of, right? So we have the human body is made up of elements following approximate proportions of weight: 65% oxygen, 18% carbon. We are 18% carbon.
We are.
So we're talking about a molecule that makes up 18% of our bodies. I think that's important to us. You know, that's important because obviously with the health benefits, but it's a carbon atom, so it's not unnatural.
No, that's what makes it a completely natural product.
Right. Okay. Now, I want to understand the mechanism of this. So it's 60 carbon atoms forming a molecule in the soccer ball shape, as you mentioned. Now, that's important because it traps the free radicals within that molecule. Is it? What's the mechanism of that? Do you know?
So really, it's a case of when it goes into the body, it uses a lot of hydrogen and oxygen within the body. And so if you can imagine with the soccer ball shape, where you have every carbon atom, you have these little spiky bits. That's what the hydrogen attaches to. And as it goes round the body, it's the oxygen that attaches to that. But then when you go to make any repair on a cell, it has the oxygen there that can do that. And anything that shouldn't be in the body can be sucked into the soccer ball shape. Amazing.
Now, it's the carbon 60 is a nanoparticle, right? Which means it's very, very small. And what is a nano? What's a nano size? We hear a lot about nano nowadays. So what does that mean? What does a nanoparticle mean?
So the nanoparticle means that you can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is very, very important. This is one of the only molecules that can really do this in terms of natural health. And when you can cross the blood-brain barrier, obviously you have a lot of toxin build-up within the brain, heavy metals that collect in the brain. That can cause a lot of issues in older people and in younger people with things like ADHD, Alzheimer's. And if you can go in and clear the toxins from the brain, that's going to help towards eradicating problems like that.
I'm glad you brought that up because this is another slide that I had prepared. I've like I say, my whole bread and butter is looking at stuff and reading information, and this is going to blow a couple of people's minds. And maybe you've never seen this before, but have you ever heard of type 3 diabetes?
I have, yes.
Okay, now what people might not know is type 3 diabetes, an informal term used to describe the connection between Alzheimer's disease and certain types of type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So we're talking about type 3 diabetes is a form of Alzheimer's. It's Alzheimer's by another name. And what you're saying is that by look, the other side of this coin that we have to ensure that people understand, we can't make curative claims. There's no, we can point to the science, and which I will soon, that's being done and research that's being done on this product and on carbon 60. And as we'll get back to in a minute with the person who discovered this molecule. But there's lots of research, but we're not making curative claims. I can tell my story about what it did for me and why I decided to try this product.
Yeah.
But when we have things like, when you say it crosses the blood-brain barrier because it's a nanoparticle, and it clears out the things like aluminium, which is what is a leading cause of Alzheimer's and dementia. This is really important for everybody to think about as we get older, and we're not getting any younger by the day. How we can relieve some of the things that are going wrong with us by proper nutrition and supplementation.
Yeah.
So, carry on.
And if I can, just to give you a brief overview of why the company was started, because this links into this really well. So the company was actually started by husband and wife, a gentleman called Alex, and he had 7 strokes. And one of the highest number of strokes of anybody ever in the world. He'd had 7 strokes, and it was a family member who researched and was trying to help rebuild his brain pathways. His were brainstem strokes, so they didn't present as they normally would with things like loss of movement and things like that. It was more to do with the brain, swallowing and hearing and sight and that sort of thing. So it's something they knew that they could repair over time, but it was trying to do that. And a family member researched and came up with carbon 60. This was back in 2016, and advised Alex to take the product. He imported from America and took the product, and over 7 months rebuilt most of his brain pathways to be able to have his sight back, the hearing which he'd lost in one side, and then just the general cognitive side of things, to the point where even though having 7 strokes, he was able to start and run a business. So that was where the start of the company came from. And obviously to repair that sort of damage was something that was really interesting. And then the business has just grown from there. So that was back in 2016. There was about 6 months of research with making the product in the lab, becoming a stable product. And then our first bottle was sold in 2017 in the March. So that's how the company actually got formed and came about, but it was because of the repair that could happen in the brain because of carbon 60.
Amazing, amazing. Now, I'm glad you brought that up as well, because when I first heard about carbon 60, like I say, it was about 8 or 9 years ago, and I was importing it from America to take myself as well, because I'd heard about research that was done before it went into human trials. It was being trialed on rats in a laboratory. Now, in the laboratory, they were giving the rats the carbon 60 molecule, and they have to see, before a product can be go to human trials, they have to see where the toxicity level is. So they kept upping the dosage in the rats to see where they would pass, where they would die. Yeah. And remarkably, the rats didn't die. They actually lived twice as long as rabbits normally do. So there were, everyone was amazed by the results of in the lab rats. And rats are used in experimentation because we share a lot of the same DNA and the same way that we function.
We do. Yeah.
So when they went to human trials, a lot of the people in the human trials were elderly people, and the first thing that they noticed in all of those people was that their eyesight got better. Now, because I'm getting older, I'm 52 now, and my eyesight has started to degrade over the past couple of years, to the point where under LED lights that we have to use nowadays, which is so bad for your eyes. If you sit in front of a computer all day, you know how much your eyes hurt and how much your brain hurts, because you're sitting there looking at a screen, you're being bombarded with LED light, and we have to use these lights in our homes now. And because I've been working in kitchens for 37 years, most of the light that we're under is LED and fluorescent lights, which is not good for your eyes. So I started to see the degradation in my eyes, and I thought, what can I do to try and turn this around? I heard about carbon 60 and started to use it. Then my supply was cut off because of COVID. Everything stopped. I couldn't get it. And that's when I found you guys and started to buy the product again. The other thing I started doing was wearing these kind of things, the pinhole glasses that cuts down the light coming into your eyes and actually helps you focus your eyes. So that my eyes are, since using it, this is my own testimonial, I'm not making a medical claim at all, but since I've been using it, my eyes are dramatically better. I can see dramatically better than what I could before I started using it. Now let's head on to the next thing. What is the actual carbon 60? How do you make it? What's the process of producing the carbon 60 that you guys do?
Yes, so it's quite a simple process. It's a long process. The carbon 60 is a actual powder, and then it gets magnetically mixed into an oil. It has to be in an oil for the body to process it and for it to go into the liver. So if you just put it into water, or you were just to eat the carbon powder, it wouldn't process the same way. So it has to be in the oil. So the oil is like a carrier, and it takes the C60 into the liver, which is where it needs to be. The liver then decides exactly where in the body that's going to go and distributes through the blood system. It's, as I say, it's just a magnetic mix, and we mix, depending upon the oil we're mixing into. It can be anything from 2 weeks to 5 weeks. So different oils have different mixing times. But our olive and coconut, which are the two that we do on our retail site, the olive has a 2-week mix and the coconut has a 5-week mix, because they have different long chain and medium chain triglycerides, which is what the actual carbon attaches to.
So when we hear the term lipid nanoparticle, this is what we're talking about, because it is encased in an oil that your body processes. And as we all know, maybe people don't know, but most of us know, things like the coconut oil and the extra virgin olive oil is so good for your brain because it's a healthy oil, and those oils are good for your brain in addition to having the carbon 60 in it. So it's a double whammy that you're getting the benefit of both the oil and the carbon 60 in it as well.
Yeah, and when we mix into our coconut oil, we have a specially formulated coconut oil that only has C8 and C10 as its makeup. So coconut oil is normally a C8, a C10, a C6, a C12. It can contain a few different carbons, and that's what is the makeup of the coconut oil. Ours is specially formulated, so there's only C8 and C10. C8 goes directly to the brain. So when you take the carbon in a coconut oil, 40% will go directly to the brain, which is why we recommend on the website, if you're trying to treat any sort of brain injury, the coconut one has a slight advantage for you. And the other 60% will go into the liver, and it will then be distributed around the blood system, whereas the olive oil, 100% will go into the liver. So that is something that if you're generally detoxing or you're trying to treat anything else other than brain injury, both will work relatively the same.
Amazing, amazing. Now, when we talk about research ongoing, as I said, there's plenty of research that's done. And I spend a lot of time on things like PubMed, which is published medical papers. A lot of it's peer reviewed. So for people who trust the science, which we've spoken about so much on this channel, and you want to back up the claims of things that are going on. I mean, it's easy for me to talk about it. It's easier for me to talk about my own experience. It's easy for you to talk about it from a business perspective, because obviously you're talking in your book because that's what you sell. But there's plenty of research that's being done, and I'll show for those of you who've never been to the site before. I will bring that up now. PubMed. Okay, so this is PubMed. So you can see the address at the top there, PubMed.ncb, which is National Library of Medicine. This is published medical papers and the research that's going on. So I put in carbon 60 fullerene. So the long-term name of the carbon 60 is Buckminster Fullerene. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. The slang name is Bucky Balls. So if you ever research that, then you'll find that come up as well.
Perfect. All right. So I went into here, put in carbon 60 fullerene. You can see it on the screen there, and there are 2,662 results for Buckminster Fullerene, and some of them are to do with cancer, some are to do with toxicity. There's pages and pages and pages of research here. So if you really want to get into the ins and outs of what the science is saying and why companies like yourself have set up in the first place, this is a really good place to start doing your research. So I noticed it as well. So I'll go to here again, and I'll just take people to your website just to have a quick look at that, because on here there's a lot of frequently asked questions. Here's the website. Lots of things on here to explain what it is, the molecule, what it is, with carbon 60 olive oil or coconut, customer snippets, what people are saying about it. Obviously the cost. There's the frequently asked questions there, just so you can understand everything about it from your perspective or from the company's perspective. Now, we were mentioning in the beginning, I'm not sure if we've gone on to this, but if we, sorry, let me get rid of that one. You were mentioning that the guy who discovered the molecule, tell me about him. Tell me about what happened with him.
Fullerene, so it's named after him.
Right.
And the issue they had is that they knew this molecule existed, but they couldn't figure out exactly how it went together or why it works like it did. And it was him that eventually figured out that it was a soccer ball shape and how the 60 carbon molecules actually went together within that shape. And then because of that and the work he'd done in the 90s, he then won the Nobel Peace Prize for his work and for the carbon 60 fullerene. Amazing
story. I mean, it is, like I say, it's, when I first came across this, it was hard for me to believe, like everything I come across that does what they say they do. And I've been very impressed with how you guys have handled it. The first time I spoke with you, you answered my questions. We were on the phone for ages because I wanted to ask lots of questions. I wanted to get a really good understanding of who you were and what the company was about and what you were doing. And to have someone on the end of the phone that can answer questions and has a deep knowledge of the product, and is happy to speak on the phone to customers who are, essentially, it's not a lot of money for for your health, you know. And the way I put it to people all the time, you know, I spend a lot of money on supplements and supplementation in our present day society. Like you mentioned already, our air is poisoned by a multitude of different things. Our water, there's so many pesticides and garbage sprayed on our food. And the other side of the coin is that when I was a kid growing up, we had most of our produce was local. We had local cows, we had local sheep, chickens, you know, all the local farmland, and people ate seasonal stuff because that's what was grown in the local area and that was produced. And it was nutritionally wise, it was so much more full of nutrients because the food had actually been ripened on the plant. So you're having all the nutrients in the plant. You've got the ripeness, which is all the nutrients being there when you eat it. Whereas nowadays, we have a lot of our food is coming from different countries from around the world. We've got things being flown in from Africa. We've got things that come on ship from other countries. We've got avocados are being ripened on the ship over from Mexico. So it's not naturally ripening on the tree or the vine. So it doesn't have that same nutritional contact. So we're having to supplement our food with supplements, with good quality supplements, to offset some of that damage. Well, like you say, the damage is being done by our environment, and we have to do something to turn that around. Otherwise, we're just going to be, you know, we're dying younger, you know, and in a society where we're supposed to be living longer because we have such great technology. We're also being robbed of that by the garbages in our food, water, air, and, you know, everything that we do in our lives, and all the, you know, these phones, if you can see that, all the phones, you know, emitting EMF frequencies. We live in a toxic environment, and anything you can do to detox from that, I think that's why I share these kind of messages.
I think that's the thing. So it's become an overload for the body. The body is an amazing natural healer. We should naturally be well, which in the society we've got today, we are just not. And it's because of the overwhelming amount of toxins that we bombard the body with all the time. And the easiest way to see C60 is that it's a natural detoxification process for the body. And when we take those toxins out and the body is no longer overwhelmed, it naturally heals itself. And that's exactly what you're looking to do with C60. Take those toxins out, give the body a chance to heal itself, to act naturally, and just be fun and live and vibrant. And that's what we should be as humans. And that's what you can create with a better mood and energy when you're not toxified the way that we are.
Excellent. Great response. So that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And it is, you know, it is the way that we should be looking at doing things is a natural way of doing things. You know, sometimes we have to go back to the old ways of doing things because they were the best ways. You know, technology is great, but it doesn't always serve us. You know, sometimes it serves itself, and we're just the recipients of whatever's left over. Now, you were mentioning as well, we hear there's a lot of buzz talk about hemp or marijuana products. You know, you're talking before we got started. Tell us what you've got coming up at London Research Labs.
Yeah, so we've got 2 exciting new products coming out for next year. One will be a pet product, so it will be a dog product. Carbon is good for any mammal, and we find that most of our customers will also supplement with their cats and dogs, and we have chickens and birds and racehorses and all sorts of animals that take it, and it's something that we get asked for a lot. So we've spent the last year and a half producing a pet product that's going to be in a salmon oil. So that comes out early part of next year. And then the second product, which again has been over a year in development here with us, is a CBD, CBG and C60 collaboration. So as you say, the way we've looked at it is that it's the 2 heavyweights of the natural health world. So C60 is our first heavyweight, and CBD is the other heavyweight. Probably a lot more known than C60, but when you combine the 2 together, they become very powerful. And what actually happens is the CBD will piggyback, if you like, onto the C60. And then what happens is when you take it into the body, as the C60 enters the cell, it goes much deeper than a CBD molecule would. And when you draw that into the cell, the repair that they can both do together is incredible. So you get CBD and CBG in the body where you wouldn't naturally have them. So it's taken in with the C60, and it just creates a really lovely natural health product.
Excellent, excellent. Now, for those of you who have been here for a while, you know, I talk about cannabis and the benefits of cannabis every day. I mean, it's an amazing plant. It's, you know, hemp especially is incredible. Why we're not using it everywhere is beyond me. But you know, there are some bad elements. You know, no one should ever smoke weed. It's not good for you to smoke. It's, you know, we have natural cannabinoid receptors in our body, and that's for a reason, because it's been part of our diet forever. You know, so our body is adapted to have cannabinoid receptors, which is why CBD products have now come onto market. But for those of you who we've got some people, some elderly people who subscribe to my channel and watch these kind of videos. Now, they might have a negative association with cannabinoids and cannabis. So what can you tell us about what's the difference between cannabis? THC is one of the cannabinoids that gets you high, that has the psychedelic effect. But what's the difference between cannabis and you know, the other products that come from it?
Yeah, so the part of the plant that we're taking, as you say, is the non-THC side. So you're not going to get high or anything like that. We use a CBD and CBG isolate. So we have a 99.999% pure product, and that gets mixed into the oil as we mix the carbon 60 in. So again, that's attaching to the carbon, which is then attaching to the lipids of the oil. It's going straight into the liver and then around the blood system. So it's doing all the work that it needs to do. Yeah.
And, you know, for those of you who've looked at cannabinoids before, and CBDs, CBD oil, CBD gummies that are being marketed everywhere, what are the health benefits? You know, because I've heard about better sleep, less anxiety, you know, repair after exercise. What have you? How are you going to be marketing or talking about cannabinoids in your product as you start to integrate them into the carbon 60?
Yeah, so when you mix it in with the carbon 60, obviously with carbon 60 you get the detox effect. So you're detoxing the body, you're removing those free radicals and toxins out of the body. That will naturally improve your energy, improve your mood. You have better hormone production within the body. The body acts much more natural. When you bring the CBD side, the CBD is really great at the inflammation side of the body. So it brings the inflammation down, and when the inflammation in the body is lowered, again, it really helps the body just to act naturally and just repair and heal. And with regard to your sleep, there's a lot that heals when you're sleeping. So that's when your body does most of its healing. It doesn't really do anything unless you're asleep. And it puts you into that sleep mode where you can go and heal and repair the body. And the two together, with the inflammation taken down and the toxins removed from the body, it's just going to go and naturally start to repair damage and just make you feel a lot better.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, if people are going to buy this stuff, how do they use it? What's the process of taking it? What's the is there a time that you should take it that's better, or how does that work?
Yeah, so when you buy the product from us, I'll just quickly show you. We have a full instructions card. It comes with instructions on exactly how to take it. And the reason we give you that is because, as I just said, your most important time is at night when you're sleeping. So we recommend a nighttime dose just before you go to bed. You take C60 by itself. It comes ready prepared in the bottle. It's an oil, either an olive or a coconut. We give you little droppers and spoons, things like that, so you can take it, or you can simply sip it out the bottle if you like to. A lot of our customers get to that stage, you just have a mouthful out of the bottle. So we take a 3 ml dose at night, and then we take another dose in the morning. So your nighttime dose is your most important, because that's the one that it's going to use for healing while you're sleeping. Your daytime dose is a protective dose, so it just protects you from everything you're going to throw at the body during the day, the Wi-Fi that's going to hit you, the 5G, things like that. So it's a protective dose in the day, and then your nighttime is your healing dose. But everything's in the box that you need. all the droppers, all the instructions card, and it's a really easy product to take. If you're not an oil fan, which some of our customers aren't, it's fine if you just want to pop it into a small bit of juice or something like that and then just swallow it that way. That makes it a little easier to take if you don't particularly like oil, don't like the texture of oil. But obviously we try and recommend just something quite natural, not a Diet Coke or anything like that.
Yeah.
Quite a natural, a little bit of orange juice or something like that.
For sure. Now, the other thing I was impressed with, it's like I say, I buy a lot of supplements from a lot of different companies. I was so impressed with the boxes and the way it's packaged when it comes to my home. Have you got a box there, and how the tubes and how it looks?
So we have a box. That's how it comes. It's just we try to be as much as we can on the eco side with our packaging. So a lot of our packaging is paper based.
Sure.
And then we've got glass bottles, which are fully recyclable. So the glass bottles are here. And then they also come in tubes. So the bottle will come in the tube. It's got a lid you take off. The reason we have it in a tube, there's two reasons for that. One, it keeps it nice and dark. So although we have a fully protective amber bottle, what you don't want is your C60 in direct sunlight. So we keep it, we give you a tube so you can keep it in that, but also for packaging reasons, everything goes through the Royal Mail, and they are quite good at breaking things. Obviously having a glass bottle and an oil makes things really difficult, but since we've had our tubes, we haven't had a broken bottle in about 3 years. So that's really helps. So so everything's in the box, and it comes just like this. So it's a nice, easy product to use and receive.
Amazing. Now, before we head off, I mean, I want to thank you so much for being here today. Like I say, we've spoken on the phone a lot. I've asked 1,000 questions, and people usually get upset with me at one point to say, "Oh God, have you had enough yet?" But look, I'm blown away with the customer service that you guys have, with the knowledge that you have of the product, and with the product that you actually produce. Everything about it is amazing, which is why I wanted to invite you on today. I've been taking this stuff for years from other people, but the product knowledge and what you guys do, and it is exactly up my street. It's what I talk about every single time I come out into a video, is helping each other, healing yourself, looking out for yourself, because if your bucket's empty, you can't help other people and fill their bucket. You have to constantly look after yourself first to make sure that you can pass on things to others. So, and this is what I'm trying to do: pass on knowledge and understanding, and something that people might not have considered or even heard of before, to help them with their own health. Because I want people to be healthy. In order to stand against this craziness that's going on in the world at the moment, we have to have a strong mind, a strong character, and a strong body to be able to stand up to what we've been bombarded with, not just the environmental stuff, but politically and all the rest of the garbage that comes to us. It's nonsense, it's garbage, it's crazy. So
I think as well, from our point of view, we really appreciate things like this, because it's a very passionate product. We're very passionate about the product. It's natural health, which is a very difficult market to advertise in. We're constantly fighting against Google bans and payment bans and things like that, because if you make any sort of health claim or anything like that, there's all sorts of problems. You're constantly fighting against trying to advertise a product. But so we really appreciate things like this, because it gets the word out there. And as you say, we feel so passionate about natural health and trying to help people just naturally heal themselves, as opposed to pharmaceutical tablets that they may take or things like that. The body is very, very good at trying to look after itself. It's just got to be given the chance to do that.
Amazing. And on that note, thank you so much, Ruby, for being here. Thank you one and all for watching and taking the time to sit down with us today and listen to this, and hopefully get a better understanding of things that you might not have even heard of before, and maybe send you in a direction to go and look for yourself. And like I've always said on my channel, don't take my word for it. Don't take Ruby's word for it. Go and look for yourself and do your own research. And if you have any questions, if you have any, if you want to understand better, if you need to understand something better, or you want information on the product, where do people go to? How can they find you?
So we have a little bit of information on our website, we have some great links that we are not allowed to put on our website. But if you want to send an email in, we'll happily send you a whole host of links where you can go and research. Our email is hello@ldnrl.com, which is LDN stands for London, RL stands for Research Labs.
So we go London Research Labs. Yeah. Oh, so it's hello. Sorry. Hello. I'm just going to put this on the screen.
Yeah.
Hello at
ldnrl.com.
I'm getting it wrong. LDN.
RL.com.
Gotta get it together. London Research Labs. So LDNRL. There we go.
.com. Yeah.
LDNRL.com. And then we'll put that one up there.
Lovely.
Add banner. Okay, and then we'll show that one. There we go. That's where they can contact you.
So we're in the office. So there's myself, there's Lucy, Laura, and Ethan in the office here. So if you want to speak to us, have any questions, anything like that, do you want me to give you the phone number? It's 020.
Okay, I'll write this down. So it's 020
7965 7330. And we're in the office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So anyone, if you want to talk to us, have any questions, feel free to give us a call. We'll try and answer most things. And then obviously you can go onto the website, which is www.ldnrl.com.
ldnrl.com.
And you can buy directly from the website.
Add banner. And then
we have
is that right? LDNRL. Yep, there we go. It's the website for everybody. So if you're not in this country, do you ship overseas?
We do. We ship all the way around the world. The website will automatically know what country you're from, so it will put the correct shipping in and things like that for you. We have different size packs, so we do from a single bottle to a triple pack, and you can mix your oil. So if you want to try both the olive and the coconut, we have mixed packs on there, or if you just want olive or just coconut, then they're on there as well.
Amazing. So look, thank you so much, Ruby, for answering all the questions, and your knowledge is wonderful. I'm so pleased that you're here today. I'm really pleased to talk about it because I believe in what you guys are doing, and I've seen firsthand myself what it's done for me. And look, if I can't recommend it highly enough. So thank you for being here. Thank you one and all for watching. And like I say, every episode, look after yourself, look after each other, and I look forward to catching up real soon. Thanks very much. Ciao for now.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.
Bye. Okay.